In referring to Jesus, we read that he taught as one having authority. It is not at all uncommon for one, when told he must do something, to ask by whose or what authority that he's ordered to do so. When teaching a subject, it should be incumbent upon a teacher to give an authority for what is being taught, depending on the subject, be it laboratory tests, accepted scientific data, historical facts, or whatever the case may be. But our great teacher, on one occasion, gave his authority for his teaching, telling his listeners, as the Father had life in himself, he has given the Son to have life in himself, and has given him authority to execute judgment. He commissioned his disciples to carry his gospel into all the world, predicated on the fact that all authority in heaven and earth had been given to him. When compared to this, any civil, military, or whatever authority pales into insignificance. The lessons this teacher left us pack authority, and we're told by his apostle that the words he speaks to us will one day judge us. And because we are intelligent people, our intellect dictates to us we must be realistic in accepting any philosophy directed at our moral and spiritual conduct. So, once again, we need to be realistic when we consider these things. Let's say that a man steals something, or he may lie or cheat or commit adultery. He may even kill. He is never caught in any of these crimes. Well, the question that arises is this: is he any less guilty simply because he was never caught? This is exactly what this teacher addresses in his lessons. His teaching is aimed at the hearts of those who hear him, and brings to life that which the wise man said so long ago: as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. It seems our tendencies are to stretch things as far as we can. The law says that the speed limit is 55 miles per hour. We believe that we can do 65 and still be safe. We may look at this and we may say, well, this is insignificant. This is just small stuff. Nobody gets hurt. Well, the problem with all this is that small stuff has an uncanny way of growing into bigger stuff. Our teacher tells us differently. He tells us to go the extra mile, and yes, to turn the other cheek. He tells us there is no room in our lives for hate or even holding a grudge, and there's no such thing as just a little white lie. He teaches us about being a good neighbor. In these times of stress and strain, where is the one who couldn't use a good neighbor now and then? Well, we all can. We are a free people, and being such, we have a tendency to be a very proud people. The wise king had quite a bit to say about pride in his writings, and none of it very good. It seems that pride has a habit of getting in the way of our compassion for our fellow man. Our teacher let nothing come between him and his compassion for those who came to him. It was as though he felt the infirmities of each one himself, and not just for the physical healing. This one reached into the very heart and soul of man. Folks, Jesus saw stubbornness. He saw a haughty spirit, and he taught not just by word alone. His life was an open book on all that he preached and taught. Those that stood at the foot of the cross and taunted him were not exactly his friends, as yet he looked down on them and he prayed, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." You've probably heard or read about the parables. They were given for the multitudes of us who have this thing about hearing only what we want to hear and seeing only what we want to see. For example, in the parable of the sower, it wasn't the quality of the seed or the sower. The problem was with the ground or the people on which the seed fell. Refusing to understand, letting our own problems consume us so that we let nothing help us, or letting the affairs of life choke out even that which we know can help us. In other words, it's about putting first things first. For those of us who have trouble remembering when someone does something good for us, there's the parable of the 10 lepers. His compassion would not let him refuse to cleanse all 10, and in doing so, he gave us a lesson on gratitude. And imagine how he felt as only one returned to give his thanks, and he asked that question: where are the 9? Where are the others? Why have they not come to show compassion? Friends, we haven't seen or heard all of it yet. These things will not all be revealed to us until Jesus comes again. But yet we are to follow our teacher, follow his guidance, follow his example and his teachings. Notice the exhibition of love and human dignity and self-sacrifice that is ever being exemplified in his powerful example. Thank you for joining us today, and have a wonderful day.